Bring on the Lakers. LA comes to town tonight. The 76ers are coming off of a much needed victory. We'll see what they can do against LeBron James and the Lakers. We'll talk about that more next on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase Locked On NBA for a first deposit match up to $100. I'm Keith Pompey, the co-host of Locked On 76ers. My man right next to me, Mr. John Mitchell, is the other co-host. If y'all don't know it, y'all need to follow my man. So what's up, bro? What's good?
Man, I'm good, man. Have we spoken since? We haven't spoken much since the holiday, man. But I'm doing well. How you doing?
Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I've been a little sluggish. I've been a little I don't know, man. I ate too much. But look, here's the deal. We're going to see what's going to happen tonight. The Sixers play the Lakers. And when you think of this rivalry, you think of great games. You think of the Sixers playing well, but losing close. But you're about to drop some knowledge. It ain't the rivalry isn't like the way people thought it used. It ain't the rivalry that when we were kids growing up, when Magic and them came to town. I mean, just break it down to us, bro. It's different.
Yeah.
Times has changed.
Yeah. It's. I mean, what a lot of people probably don't realize, it's gotten really one-sided and lopsided in the last few years. The Sixers have currently won the last 6 meetings between the teams, and that's dating back to March of 2020 when the Lakers beat them 120-107, and the Sixers have actually won 9 of the last 10 meetings between the Lakers. So they're kind of, years. The Lakers have always been that, that elite franchise with the, league leader in championships. But you look at them now and they're kind of on the tail end of LeBron's career. They're not as dominant, nearly as dominant as they have been in years gone by. And, they're coming to the Wells Fargo Center on a road trip. They actually played pretty well. They're on a 3-game road winning streak. So we'll see if they can do that. If they just beat Cleveland. We'll see if they can just take that into the Wells Fargo Center and beat a 76ers team that themselves got a nice win in Oklahoma City over the weekend. So, but yeah, it hasn't been the illustrious matchup of the 1980s and the glory years of the NBA. And even going back to 2001 when the teams met in the NBA Finals and Allen Iverson infamously stepped over Tyronn Lue. I was actually covering the Wizards that year when he did that. So, well, and it was in LA for that series. So it's the rivalry has changed. It's always going to be one of the more traditional rivalries in the NBA because they're big cities, big basketball, legendary or core franchises of the NBA. But the Lakers are. Every time you cast a gaze at them, they seem to be underperforming now in the last few years with LeBron. And AD, you never know what you're going to get from AD. You may get some really good games from him for a stretch, but you just really never know what you're going to get from them. So I think this is a good time for the Sixers to send a message and turn that 9 of the last 10 into 10 of the last 11 and get a win here.
Yeah, the funny thing about this is that a lot of that has to do with Embiid's dominations. Like Embiid has played the Lakers 10 times, right? It's funny. He's averaging 31.6 points and 9.9 rebounds against the Lakers. And when you think about it, his career average, he loves them teams in LA. He's averaging 31.6 against the Lakers, and his career high against one team is the Clippers, where he's averaging 34.4 points. So this 31.6 is tied for the second most against one team and in points total, because he's also averaging that number against the Indiana Pacers in 18 games. So, Embiid has been a beast, man, against there. And I get it. A lot of times he wants to go to LA and, he's there. He knows he's playing at, whatever they name, crypto.com this time, before it was the Staples Center. And you got the millionaires, you got the movie stars, and Joel's putting on the show. And, he's been that way. And you look at it, he's just been a dominant guy against his team. And he's had a lot of success. I feel like, Maxey gets out and run. Tobias plays well against this team. So, but to me, the biggest thing is they never had anybody on their team that was capable of stopping Joel. Like we talked about Anthony Davis, an all-star type of guy who's listed as probable for the night. But Joel just dominated him throughout his career. Whenever they may have AD at the 4 and they'll have another guy at the center. Joel dominated that guy too. It just seems like there are certain teams, and Joel is the MVP. He leads the league in scoring, but the Lakers have always been a team where he's just thrived on against that squad.
Yeah. You wonder, there's certain teams that, like everybody, when they go to Madison Square Garden, no matter how many times you've been there, you want to have a good game. And whenever you play the Lakers, whether it's here or because the Lakers have always been the show, you go back to the Showtime Lakers, you go back way before that, you go back to the Wilt Chamberlain Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, the Kobe and Shaq three-peat Lakers, the Lakers without Shaq and with Kobe, when Kobe kind of emerged as the best player in the world. Teams always, they're always in the crosshairs. They're like the symbol from Public Enemy. They are always in everybody's crosshairs, and I think that's a good thing because teams will get up for them, and coming into when they come into your building. I remember when LeBron used to come to Washington when I was covering the Wizards. And even when he was coming to Philadelphia, it was just different. It was like, this guy is now recognized as the best player in the world, as the heir apparent to Michael Jordan. And teams just got up for them, and there was a different feeling in the arena. But I don't think you so much get that feeling anymore, Keith.
Nah, you don't get that. Nah, you don't. Yeah. You don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think players still get up for them, and they get up for LeBron, but the electricity, and LeBron's putting up great numbers. We've never seen anybody play this late into their career putting up the kind of numbers he's putting up, but it just doesn't have the same type of impact on a game-to-game basis. The numbers are good, but they're not earning them wins the way he used to when he was in Miami. And even earlier in his career with when he and AD were very good together. And they still are very good together, but it's just not the same thing.
Well, I think the part of the problem is like AD. He's a great player when healthy, but he's
Mhm.
been hurt a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
look at LeBron. What is he? 38, about 39, whatever, 38. Like you
Yeah.
can't expect somebody that age to carry your team for the most part.
Right.
And when you
Right.
look at their roster, like Rui Hachimura,
Mhm.
Cam Reddish,
Yeah.
guys like that, you know even the point guards. I mean, these are guys that other teams gave up on, and now they're in
Right.
LA trying to reestablish their career, right? So that's the hard part. Now, the something that we're talking about, health wise, and here's a problem tonight. So, right now they have one, two, three, four, five, six guys on the injury report, right?
Mhm.
Anthony Davis is the Batman to LeBron's no, he's the Robin to LeBron's Batman, and
Mhm.
he's listed as probable with hip spasms, right? Rui Hachimura, another a guy who they depend on, is
Mhm.
out with a nasal fracture. LeBron James is questionable with a calf contusion. Now I expect him to play, but he's listed as questionable. Cam Reddish, a left groin strain is questionable. Jared Vanderbilt, he's out with a heel injury. Gabe Vincent, he's out
Mhm.
with a left knee effusion. So they have problems with these guys staying healthy. And that also hinders. And you say like, yeah, no one is afraid of them anymore, just
Right.
because hey, LeBron's getting older. AD can't stay healthy, and you got all these young teams out there that are ascending. Like look at the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Right.
Look at the Denver Nuggets who won the championship. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's just what they have is they have a bunch of fringe guys
Mhm.
and a bunch of injured guys and an older guy. I'm not calling him old, but an older
Yeah.
guy, Ron James, and that's the problem.
It's part of the changing of the guard. It always happens. Um, and with LeBron, we're in the waning years of his career. He says he wants to play with Bronny. We'll see if that ever happens. For him and for them, I hope it does happen. I think it would be great to see LeBron play with his son if he's in fact good enough to be in the NBA. But yeah, they're banged up. They're on the road. It's post holiday. It's in between. The NBA. Most people don't really consider the NBA really beginning until Christmas Day, when it really starts to heat up. But yeah, I think they're primed to be had by the Sixers. The Sixers, again, coming off a nice win. And granted, the Sixers have lost 4 of the last 6 games. So, we were here last week kind of questioning where are the 76ers. This is a good barometer in that you need to come out here and beat this team, which is three time zones away from home, and wishing that they weren't. So, I think it will be a good game because LeBron never, he always gives you his best. And AD's been playing well. He's coming off of a really nice game in that win over Cleveland. I think it was 32 points and 13 rebounds. And it's kind of game, when you look at AD, when he's on, he's on. But this year, as in previous years, when he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. So we'll see what he has tonight.
Yeah, we definitely will. But hey, when we get back, I want to give. When we get back, I want to talk about Kelly Oubre. Nick Nurse gave a little update on Kelly Oubre
Good.
yesterday, so I want to talk about that. But right now, I want to talk to you guys about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. We are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 players stats, projections, and watch the winnings roll in. With the basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, right? A league created specifically for combo projections that include two or more players from different sports or league. For example, we've been talking about LeBron James. You can put LeBron James plus Travis Kelsey at a 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made plus receptions, right? And also, here's something else. You want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz. You can now find community plays under the promo tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. So there's a lot, right? What do? You go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnba and use the code lockedonnba for a first deposit match up to $100. Now I'm going to repeat. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnba and use the code lockedonnba for a first deposit match up to $100. It's highly encouraged to go to PrizePicks. I'm telling you guys, it makes daily fantasy sports made easy. Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. Well, Mitch, they had, I guess, they gave some good news yesterday talking about Nick Nurse, about Kelly Oubre. He talked about how Kelly, was practicing with the team. Now, yesterday was a light practice, so they really didn't do much, not a lot of contact. But what he did is he did 5-on-0 work. Okay. And he was asked if Kelly is going to come back, quick, fast, in a hurry, like soon. And it was funny. And the guy, he was like, well, when is soon? And I said, Monday night against the Lakers. And he said, oh, no, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. And then he was like, rather sooner than late, one of those type things. I guess it's good now for Kelly to come back and to provide some more depth for the Sixers. And when you look at it, when Kelly was in there, Tobias was playing better. Everybody was playing better. The offense was flowing easier.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to take him a while to get back to where he was. I mean, he's just a little rusty. And then he has to condition himself to playing with the injury, But I think this is good news for the Sixers.
Absolutely good news. Oubre made a significant contribution as a starter for his team, just thrown into the starting lineup. And without him, that's when they lost those games. They lost to Indianapolis, the Indiana game, lost the Minnesota game, and to good quality teams. They could have lost those games without him. But it's good to bring his 16 points per game back, and he's been a better defender than was advertised. My question is going to be interesting as they bring him back to the day. You and I have often talked about it. We prefer him coming off the bench, so that they have a stronger second unit. I wonder how he brings him back into the lineup. We've seen Batum getting the call for the start in that lineup. I wonder if Oubre comes back in and starts. I wonder how that transition works. And so that would be interesting to see. I'd like to see him come off the bench, and I think with the injury, whenever he does make a return, I think they'll work him in relatively slowly. But to the contrary, the fact that when he first got hurt, they were saying that it's going to be an extended absence, and they never really did put a number of games or a number of weeks on that. So if he's out there doing 5-on-love, pretty soon it'll escalate probably this week to 5-on-5, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think that's a matter of they just want to make sure he gets out there and gets a real contact practice. Now, again, he's supposed to get reevaluated this week. So I'm assuming he's getting reevaluated today or tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. And then they'll take it from there. But I also don't think that the Sixers want to put it out there when exactly he's coming back. Because in the past, they would, mention, okay, this guy is expected to come back on said day, give their timeline. And then when the person didn't come back, it became major news, and then they had to explain stuff. So lately, they always been basically making it seem like the guy was going to be out longer than he was, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, he came back early," and it's like, but did he really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more or less he didn't come back early. It's just that they were a little bit vague on a timeline for his return, and and I'm not being critical of him. It's just that's just how it was, and I think that's what they're going to probably do the same thing for this one,
Yeah. It'll be good to see him back. It'll be good. It's good to know that he's healthy. And again, he's a guy, like you said, he fits nicely because he helps to create space on the floor, and he can attack from from the perimeter and hit the 3-pointer. And even though Tobias has struggled, we had to expect that Tobias was going to come down from that 65% he was shooting from the floor. So that's the numbers coming down, and you bring Kelly back in here, it just makes them, hey, there's a guy who's looks like a starter in this league for a few years to come, and you bring him back and you add him to it just strengthens the lineup. And it's interesting. I was looking at the standings. There's some other teams that have emerged as well. I mean, I think the team that's kind of emerged under everybody's radar is Orlando. I think Orlando might be 12-4 or 10-4, something like that. So so it will be good to have Kelly out there enhancing what the 76ers do.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. So that's going to work out. But Mitch, like when we get back, I want to talk to you about the Sixers defense against opposing all-stars. They've been getting torched for the most part. I mean, they actually been getting torched. So I want to talk to you about that when we get back. But right now, y'all, I want to talk to y'all about FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get into action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Now, Mitch, so the last game that they played, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an all-star, all NBA player, performer. He had 31 points against them.
Right.
2 nights before that, they go and they play Minnesota Timberwolves all-star guard, Anthony Edwards. He has 31 points against them. And then before that, they play former Cleveland Cavaliers all-star. Now, these are like 3 consecutive games. Darius Garland, who had 32 points against them, right? And then they played before that. They play they played Boston in between these games, but then they played what's the guy from
Indy?
From Indy, yeah. Tyrese Halliburton.
Yep.
He had 33 points and 15 assists against them.
Yeah.
And then in the season opener, they played Dame Lillard, who has 39 points against them. Now, again, we all know scoring is going up.
Right.
But the Sixers are 1-4 in those games. Right? And it just seems they've been getting torched. And a lot of times you look at it, you got to tinker with your rotation, the guys you close out with. You got to bring an extra defender in there, perimeter defender. is that Nick Nurse says it's not a concern right now. It's a little concern, but there's other things he's concerned about. Is that a concern of yours?
I'm not overly concerned about it, Keith. I think that the guys in this league who really can play are really going to show out. I think the Tyrese Halliburton thing, with the number of assists and the points that he had was impressive. But I'm not, because if you look at the Sixers roster, they've got the number one scoring duo in the league in Maxey and Embiid. And so you're going to get those numbers. I mean, that's what stars do in the league. That's what stars and superstars and emerging stars, whatever we're calling Tyrese at this point, that's what they do in this league. So I think if you can, prevent them from just totally toasting you, like Anthony Edwards, they were just better across the board that night. I think that was the only game they appeared to be completely outclassed in. But I think if you can keep them under, relatively under control and more so keep the other guys, don't let the other guys, the ancillary players, kill you. And they've been doing a pretty good job of that. If you can do that, I think you'll be all right. But remember, when you play the 76ers, what are you thinking? Can we stop Embiid? He's on track to lead the league in scoring for what, a third year in a row, possibly?
Yeah.
And Maxey, the way he's playing. So I've come to, the stars in this league just get theirs. They just get theirs. But you do point out is a trend. If you do slow the star, do we have 2 more wins than we have? Instead of 10 wins, are we sitting on 12, and higher in the Eastern Conference? So, so that's where it's concerning. But I just think in this league it's so hard. It's so hard to slow the stars down now. And the rules just cater to the stars being better performers.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, they just got it, but there's something that you won't have to shore up because the last game, they had to take Tobias. It seemed like they took Tobias out of the end. I mean, he didn't close out the game because you needed Pat Bev and you needed Nick Batum in there. And then the game before that, Nick Batum wasn't really playing a lot of fourth quarter minutes, but all of it is because they're getting attacked in the perimeter on defense. And they got like these 3-guard lineups. And I get it, but, that's just something that they got to shore up. They really got to shore that up and, moving forward. They really have to. So, it's something they got to do.
Keith, I got a question for you. Is LeBron an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season?
I think he has an option this year. One of those things. Yeah. I think he has an option. I mean, why? Are you saying they should go after LeBron?
And you know what? I thought about it over the weekend. And I always, my mind goes back to, when does LeBron have? 1 championship with the Lakers?
Yeah, he got the bubble championship.
Championship. I'm not so certain it had, there was that little, brief as it was and irrelevant as it was, the flirtation the 76ers had with him last time he was a free agent. Sometimes I wonder, maybe he has 2 championships if he plays alongside Joel Embiid. Maybe he goes that legacy.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it could have been. But now my thing is, do you want LeBron knowing that you're going to have to use a draft pick to get his son? And can you get his son? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he does seem hell-bent on giving his son. And I appreciate and respect that. He wants his boy to play in the league. But, and who knows what kind of player Bronny's going to be, so it's just food for thought, if had LeBron come here with the drought of NBA championships now not be at 40 years for our franchise. So you just wonder about those things.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. LeBron has a player option of $51.4 million next year.
Wait, LeBron, you don't need the money.
Man, life is good for him. I tell you that. I tell you that. I tell you that life is
Life
good
is
for
good.
LeBron.
Oof.
You go, man. 51.4. 51.4. What could I do
Man.
with 0.4?
I know, right? Yeah.
but hey y'all, I want to thank y'all for joining us this week. Today, and make sure you come back for the rest of the week. We'll have something tomorrow morning from tonight's game. The Sixers are going to try to beat them for the 10 of their last 11 matchups. Yeah. What a 6-game winning streak against them.
Yeah.
So the Sixers are going to try to get it done. We're going to make sure we're going to continue to get it done for y'all for when you guys come back here. But make sure you get this podcast, Locked On 76ers. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. When you go to the YouTube channel, make sure you click on the Liberty Bell. You become a new subscriber. In addition to that, you get notifications when we drop our next podcast. So do that today, people. I'm telling you, definitely do that. And me, I would like to thank y'all for listening. I want to speak for Mr. Mitchell for thanking you guys for joining. And we will be back and talk to y'all tomorrow with a recap of the game and look ahead to the New Orleans Pelicans game.
10 of 11. Peace.